check-in services suspended at the Hong Kong International Airport as thousands of protesters once again occupying the gateway. Let's get the latest from CNN International Correspondent Paula Hancocks. Good evening, Paula. What is the situation like there?
Well, Pia, at the moment, I'm just in the arrivals hall at Hong Kong International Airport. There are potentially thousands of protesters that are here at this point. They're greeting those passengers who have managed to land and who are coming through with chants of an eye for an eye. Hong Kong is not safe, saying that the police have been using too much force over recent days with the protesters. Now, we are hearing as well from transport authorities that departures have been cancelled at this point from here. There's no information at this point as to what is going to happen with those planes that are going to be landing or already in the air. But it is a huge disruption for one of the busiest transport hubs in the world. This is the 8th busiest in the world, according to figures from 2018. So certainly what we're seeing here is that protesters have managed to shut down once again, at least in part, a very important airport. And what they are saying is that they want accountability. They want an inquiry into what they see as police aggression, as too much force, certainly on Sunday evening when there were clashes between police and protesters as well. Pia?
Paula, no sign yet of the Hong Kong police, or at the very least, uniformed Hong Kong police?
Yes, we did hear today something that had been alleged for many days, that there had been undercover police who had been working amongst the protesters, and that was effectively acknowledged by the Chief Executive Carrie Lam, saying that yes, this is a police tactic that is used, that this is an attempt to try and root out some of the more violent instigators within a group. But this is something that has been criticised heavily by protesters, by many in Hong Kong, as there have been viral videos seen online which show violence against certain protesters from undercover police who, up until the last moment, appeared to be protesters themselves. So this is certainly something that it is being criticised by the protesters. But from the official point of view, they say it is a legitimate police strategy, a policy to try and make sure that they can root out the more violent elements of a protest before it gets started. Here in the airport, though, it has to be said, there is not visible police presence. We are not seeing a tremendous security presence here. At this point, we do still see the check-in staff. We see the airport staff, but very little security itself.
Legitimate police operations maintain law and order. But Paula, just one last question. Like you said, this is a major disruption. So many travelers affected. You know, I asked the Chinese embassy here in Manila, what happens to those foreign nationals, including Filipino nationals, who are presently in China, who have connecting flights through Hong Kong, and whose visas are expiring. And the embassy here was saying that these nationals can always ask for proof of flight delay from the air carriers. Do we have any announcements from the air carriers that are there in the Hong Kong International Airport with this regard?
Well, at this point, I mean, what we're seeing just upstairs in the departures area was that the protesters themselves were actually trying to block off the departure area. They're trying to prevent passengers to some extent from being able to get on their flights easily. Now, they weren't blocking them, but they were lining up a certain number of trolleys to try and disrupt that movement. I was up there just about 5-10 minutes ago, and it seemed as though people were still getting through and still checking in. But we have now heard from Cathay Pacific, for example, and now from the Transport Authority as well, that they are going to be postponing and cancelling all these the departures from Hong Kong this evening. We don't know how long that will last. We don't know what it means for incoming flights. But what we saw from yesterday was that there was an attempt by these carriers to rebook passengers on the next available flight. And what we're hearing from many protesters here is telling the tourists, if you want to leave Hong Kong, try and get a morning flight, because they're expecting this to go on. This is the 5th day now. This doesn't look like it's wrapping up anytime soon.
All right. Paula Hancocks there of CNN in the Hong Kong International Airport. Thank you for that.